Well, hello there, friends. Alex here, Alex Plays, and today we're doing a little bit of a Last of Us video. Brought out the old Last of Us cosplay and complete with the broken watch. I wonder what time it is. Yeah, it definitely doesn't work. But it's always time to talk about The Last of Us 2 and how Sony has pretty much completely banished that game to the shadow realm, pretty much proving every critic of the game correct. Now, since the game launched last year, there's been tons and tons, metric tons of pure copium. If you check out the Last of Us subreddit, which we're going to take a look at, the conversation always is, oh, they're going to announce something. Oh, there's going to be, just wait. Oh, we're going to get factions. We're going to get DLC. The game made so much money. Well, it looks like none of those things are true because yesterday was the PlayStation Showcase. And if they were going to announce something, it would have been at this event. This is the big fall reveal of all the upcoming games. There were some amazing games that got announced. Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, we got looks at Guardians of the Galaxy. Really amazing stuff. God of War, all of this great stuff got premiered, and it looks like they put God of War at the very top. And there was only one little teeny tiny little announcement from Naughty Dog. The fact that they're going to be remastering Uncharted 4 for PS5 and porting it to PC, which is like, okay, that's fine. I heard other rumors about the whole Uncharted collection being put on PC, but that remains unconfirmed. Now, why am I making this video? This doesn't look like most of my normal videos. It's just going to be a kind of from the gut reaction of the cope because I told you so. I told you so. So many of us told you Last of Us 2 stands. We told you so. We told you so. So this is a victory lap, honestly. Now we can hopefully, finally put this to rest because if the game really were a critical success. Now let me just say before I start ranting, if you really did like the game, that's no problem. That's your opinion. You're entitled to like what you like. I like some trashy reality TV shows. I love it when Gordon Ramsay goes into some restaurant and calls people a bunch of assholes because they don't know how to peel potatoes. But that isn't exactly highbrow, high caliber, brilliant TV. It's sort of schlock, and that's fine if you're into that. The Last of Us 2 is pure schlock. It is terrible storytelling. It is awful. The gameplay feels like it's from 10 years ago. It's like they didn't bother to try to change anything. I don't want to get into that. This is not what this video is about. It's just my opinion that I find the game terrible, and there are a lot of people who share that opinion. So I sat down and watched the showcase, and I was anticipating something. I thought, okay, maybe it looks like they haven't completely. Maybe I'm looking for any kind of sign of life. Maybe they haven't completely given up on this. And there have always been these rumors about the factions multiplayer, about DLC, or a Part 3 announcement. Now, if you look at some other games that came out around the same time, Ghost of Tsushima, for instance, which just got a full-priced expansion, $30. And you can get the upgrade to the PS5 version if you get the expansion. And if you want to buy the game outright, complete with the DLC, it's another $60. So basically, a year later, the price has gone down by $0. That tells me that Ghost of Tsushima is an amazingly successful game. How many millions of copies has it sold? I haven't looked into it. It's got to be, north of 8 million. My guess would be anywhere between 8 and 10 million copies by this point. Obviously, there's some slowdown in the post-launch, but that game just is so strong, it's so good, and it's going to continue to sell, in my opinion. Whereas I've done a video about The Last of Us 2 sales, and it's terrible. It's awful. Nobody is playing this game now, and it hasn't sold. I've heard, there's Last of Us 2 stands that will say, oh, it sold, 12 million copies, 12 million copies. It sold 25 million copies. And my response to that is always, if it really sold that much, don't you think you'd be hearing about it? Do you think Neil Druckmann would ever shut up about it? He'd be like, oh, in your face haters, oh, wow, look at all this, look at all this cheddar, all this money. Hasn't happened. So, getting into the showcase, I watched it. I wasn't completely sure. I thought maybe they'd sneak in, factions or something, something they'd already built. And we're just going to announce, oh yeah, we built this thing. Here you go. If they were going to announce anything at all, I was expecting breadcrumbs. But no, here we are. Dead silence. Dead silence. There's nothing. They didn't say anything about it. And this fact was not lost on some folks over at the Last of Us subreddit, which is basically just a fan club. That sub, if you post any kind of negative criticism about Last of Us 2, you immediately get banned. Like, you're either a fanboy or you're banned. But the Last of Us 2 subreddit, that's for people who hate the game. So it's always funny to watch somebody like wander into the Last of Us 2 subreddit and they're like, oh man, I love part 2. And everybody's like, no, it sucks. Oh, get out. It's kind of funny. Anyway, there's a little thread here called Nothing from Naughty Dog at the Showcase, period. It reads, again, nothing from Naughty Dog at the Showcase. Not looking good for faction. Not looking good for getting factions. I'd be expecting a double announcement if factions and their new IP fairly soon. Starting to wonder if it's been scrapped. Hope they aren't rethinking things because of the stupid reactions to part 2. Hi. Hello. Oh, this is so great. So we're going to read some of the comments here, and I've already read a few of them, and it's chef's kiss. Pure copium. Absolutely pure, unfiltered cope. The amount of mental gymnastics that any fans of this game have to do at this point to try to they're like, it's like listening to people who think the moon landing was faked. They're like, no, it's all secret. They're keeping it, it's gonna blow everybody away. It's gonna like absolutely wreck everybody's mind. That's why they're keeping it so secret. You just gotta use your mind, And then the aliens, it's basically like that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I just feel so justified. I feel so justified. Like everybody who didn't have a good experience with part 2, who found it unnecessarily divisive, poorly written, poorly conceived, poorly executed, we were all right. And the game is now on sale for $20 from most retailers. They have stacks and stacks of copies in the shrink wrap that they can't get rid of. And it's very easy. You walk into any Target or Best Buy and look in the cabinet for yourself if you don't believe me. But anyway, let's get into these comments. It's definitely not scrapped, just has to have massive scope by now. It's not a 3-mode multiplayer anymore. I'm hoping for Outbreak Day, which is September 26th. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we have to wait until the 26th to see, but I got a feeling we're not going to get anything. The last official news happened there in the form of the tweet by Druckmann. We can hope, since they've pretty much said they're doing it. Seems like the only reason to wait is until it's nearly done, as we'll likely all lose our minds once it's announced. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind if I'm wrong. OP replies, you think Sony would rather show it off at the showcase, to be honest? Probably. I don't really know. I think factions wouldn't benefit from a short trailer at a big showcase. I think a state of play with a deep dive of the game that immediately explains the modes, maps, etc. Nobody cares. Nobody wants this. This is like people like, oh man, I can't wait for that Abby DLC. Where she's gonna like go on the search for some protein powder, get those massive muscles. Damn. Side note about that. I'd like to work out a lot. Like she's got bigger muscles than me. She's got cannons in a zombie apocalypse where it's like, you know how long it takes to get muscles like these? You have to work out constantly. Like I haven't eaten a carb in like 6 months. Still got a lot more work to do. Anyway, that showcase didn't need it at all. The last 10 minutes were the best 10 minutes I've seen in any conference. It would have been nice to get an update, but I don't understand how you're all continuously hyping yourselves up and then getting disappointed. That's a really, really good point. He's right. Well, they were there to announce the remastered PS5 and PS Port of Uncharted. See, that's a good point. Okay, there's also some tweet about this. Let's look at that. Okay, September 29th. So this was 2 years ago now. We wanted to address multiplayer in The Last of Us Part 2. As we stated, the single-player campaign is far and away the most ambitious project as Naughty Dog have undertaken, and also the most misguided. Likewise, as development began on the evolution of our factions mode from The Last of Us Part 1, the vision of the team grew beyond an additional mode that could be included with our enormous single-player campaign, wanting to support both visions, we made the difficult choice. The Last of Us Part 2 would not include an online mode, so they're not doing factions. However, you will eventually experience the fruits of our team's online ambition, but not as part of The Last of Us Part 2. When and where it will be realized is still be determined, but rest assured, we are big fans of factions as the rest of our community and are excited to share more when it's ready. Okay, so my guess here would they have some kind of project in mind that's like all the characters from the Naughty Dog universe like fight each other in some kind of like multiplayer game or something. I don't know, something like that. Yeah. So you have right from the horse's mouth, they're not doing factions. I completely agree with your frustrations, but then I thought about it more. What if it's closer to Rainbow Six Siege than its last incarnation? With that in mind, it would be a gritty undertaking that takes a lot of time. I'm happy to wait if I get another brutal 5v5 multiplayer game. So here's the thing that you need to understand about game development. If you go watch my other video about, was The Last of Us 2 profitable? The TLDR on that is it wasn't. It was a total flop. Game development is incredibly expensive, especially for this was supposed to be the big flagship game for Sony, because the last one, it was like, well, we have this check just waiting to be cashed. Let's do a sequel. Why the hell not? The first game, it made something like crazy, like $500 million. I mean, nobody really knows for sure. Like that's a big secret. But if you look at the total number of players, there've been 45 million people who have played the game in one way or another. Now, whether they got that game with their Game Pass or like they got it for free when it was like with PlayStation Plus, as when they give away free games, maybe people have played it that way. Maybe somebody bought a used copy. Maybe somebody has multiple accounts on the same console. All of these variables mess with the data points, but you can't ignore the fact that it was 45 million people play The Last of Us, and the most recent numbers we have only suggest that 7.5 million have only played The Last of Us 2. So Last of Us 1 up here, 45 million. Last of Us 2 down here, 7.5 million. And when you consider that there's something like 109 million monthly active users on PlayStation Online, that is so many people that skipped out on part 2. They just didn't play it. So, but this guy's holding out for, maybe they're going to do it like Siege. Yeah. I feel like they might make an announcement on Outbreak Day later this month. There were a lot of major announcements at the showcase, and they probably thought announcing the multiplayer there would cause it to get overshadowed. On Outbreak Day, they'll probably give us a trailer and a release date. They may also hint at the existence of the PS5 remake for the first game. Now, I saw a fake screenshot of like an IGN Instagram story, and I looked at their Instagram and I couldn't find this to corroborate this. And so I'm assuming it's fake. But they said, like Last of Us 1 remake is in the works. I think that would be a terrible idea to do Last of Us 1 remake, because one, we already have the PS4 remake. The remastered edition is totally fine. It doesn't need to be built from the ground up. And furthermore, it's only gonna like Last of Us as a franchise is dead. It's finished. We're gonna get one season of the HBO show. It'll probably be pretty good. But don't underestimate Neil's ability to ruin things. So we'll just have to wait and see. But as a gaming franchise, it's done. It's toast. The only way I can see it ever coming back to life if Neil Druckmann resigns from Naughty Dog and issues a statement saying, "Yeah, I fucked up. I really fucked up, and that's really clear to me now. I've had a lot of time to think about it." That's really the only way that they could like bring this corpse back to life, because they killed it. I would think the multiplayer is massively awaited and would have stolen the spotlight. I've had my fingers crossed the entire time that they'll hit us with a, "Wait, we have one more thing," but nope, frowning emoji. Oh my God, this is just bless your heart. This is so precious. It's like, I know I'm laughing a lot, but like, how could you be this disconnected from reality? Like, how can you be sitting in your head, you're like, Last of Us 2 sold 100 million copies. It's the greatest game of all time. Won every single game award. Yeah, because every single game award is bought and paid for. I hate to break it to you, but there's this thing called access journalism. Access journalism is when, major outlets, they have multi-million-dollar, in some cases, advertising deals with these websites. Like Sony is selling ads on these websites. So they knew that there was going to be a problem with this game. They went to these people and said, hey, all those deals we have? Yeah, we're going to need you to give the game a score of 10 out of 10, or you can forget about all this advertising money. Sony spends billions of dollars on advertising money. You don't think they bought these ads? Come on. They bought the awards? Come on. Think, Mark. Think. Okay, this guy is actually, I like his take because this guy has some common sense. Not to mention the fan base is completely split over The Last of Us 2. After all the bad press, you have places like Game Rant, like simping nonstop for this game, but whatever. After all the bad press, their best move is to polish it as much as they can, wait for or pay for a bunch of YouTubers to pay for it, make a bunch of vids saying, was The Last of Us 2 actually good? No. Go watch SkillUp's review. SkillUp, that man is the GOAT. I give him a lot of credit because he's huge and he told the truth. He told the truth on fucking launch day. He did not sugarcoat it. He was like, this game sucks. And, that dude has got he's in the same boat as a lot of these, major publications. If he hurts Sony's feelings, do you think they're going to call him up and give him an exclusive review copy of a game? He probably burned that bridge with that review, but I mean, good on you, SkillUp. GOAT, that guy. I personally love The Last of Us 2, but there's no way in hell Naughty Dog should spend a cent on developing factions unless they've planned to rebrand it as a new IP, roll it into The Last of Us 3. Not going to happen. Or spend a ton of effort trying to salvage the previous title. It's over. I love Last of Us 2. I don't know why. I think it's earned its home in the Hall of Greats for sequels. All right, this is where this dude loses me. Like Aliens or Metal Gear Solid 2, gameplay, graphics, animation, sound, optimization, accessibility, story, voice acting, nothing matches this game as far as consistently knocking out of the park on all levels. Wrong. You are wrong. That's funny. Everything you just said was wrong. But I know people who should know better, who think the game is a wreck. It is. For no other reason than Joel dying and Ellie not avenging him. Lots of people feel that way, and until effort is made or enough time passes, doing a faction spinoff isn't going to bring a ton of traction. The thing is this is never going away because you killed the GOAT. You killed Joel. He is the man. He is one of the greatest video game characters ever made. People love him. He and Ellie are the reason that people love this franchise. That's the reason people continue to play part 1. People are still going to continue to play part 1, and they're going to ignore part 2. It's sort of like what do you think? What do you think people watch more? Empire Strikes Back or Attack of the Clones? Okay, Ghost of Mufasa is still holding out. Was about to say, what's the rush? They're still hiring for the games and fleshing things out. No, they're not. They're working on if I had to guess, Jak and Daxter. Bring back a more successful franchise. Last of Us. Nobody's gonna buy a Last of Us 2 game at this point. Sorry to tell you. Sorry, I hate to tell you. I hate to rain on the old parade here. The games will come when they come. For now, just sit back and enjoy what's on the table, and also what some of the other Sony first-party studios are dropping. When it's time for Naughty Dog to lay their own cards on the table, they will. Well, they already have. Because they've only announced the Uncharted port. Quick cash in. Patience. They just released the Game of the Year last year. I think we'll hear a lot more from Naughty Dog next year. Nope. Also, I don't know what's going on with Insomniac. Their output is ridiculous. Really the unicorn among the big Sony studios. Yeah, the Spider-Man game looks pretty good. It's gonna have Venom, and they're doing Wolverine. The overall, speaking of the overall tone of the showcase, I really got this vibe. They were like, don't touch the third rail. And what do I mean by that? They knew that if they were going to, if there was even going to be a whiff of get ready to have your expectations surprised or whatever, what's that all people, your expectations, whatever the word is, you know what I'm talking about. Subverted. Get ready to have your expectations subverted. In the new God of War, Kratos is killed by Athena, a strong, powerful female character, and you will play as her for the rest of the game, and you're going to learn about equality and diversity and acceptance, and Kratos' son it gains 500 pounds, so it's going to be about body positivity as well, coming this fall. God of War, Ragnarok. Yeah, that would have been very, very bad. They knew not to do that. So if you watch the showcase, it's very focused. And they even interview one of the God of War, I think the director of God of War, and he even just plainly says it. He's like, this is slice of life. This is very direct. This is not going to, it's almost like the ghost of Last of Us 2 is haunting all of Sony's releases. So now they're just being like, oh shit, what do people want? Oh, they want like this kind of game? Here you go. No more of this subverted expectations bullshit. Here's another good one. If I was Neil and spent years creating this masterpiece, I wouldn't do anything for these fans. My bag of fucks to give would have been empty right after my staff started receiving death threats. Fuck you people. Not all of you. You know the ones. Bunch of pathetic losers living in mom's house at the age of 36. Okay. All right. What are you getting so mad for? What are you getting so mad for? These people are so defensive. If it really was a masterpiece, this like amazing game that like, here's how you know it's not a masterpiece. Here's how you know. I'm about to blow your mind. You ready? Notice how nobody is going to imitate Last of Us Part 2. Nobody will ever take a popular gaming franchise and do to it what was done like Last of Us Part 2. They're not going to get Mario and then be like, okay, Bowser's going to kill Mario and he's going to marry Princess Peach. That's literally never going to happen. Or like Zelda, like, okay, Zelda is going to kill Link and marry Ganon. What? Like, it's never going to happen. So you're never going to see a game franchise imitate Last of Us 2. It's just never going to happen. How many games, though, imitate Part 1? So many games. Like the Walking Dead series, that's basically the same exact story. Father-daughter story. God of War, it's a father-son story. It's literally the same thing. All you need to do is pair an adult up with a kid and they have a relationship. And look at how many like TV shows copy that exact same structure. The Mandalorian. It's literally he just has a baby instead of, a younger kid. Like it's the same. It's the reason that archetype, that story structure works so well is it's relatable and it's sympathetic. People can't relate to some bullshit revenge story that doesn't make any sense and relies completely on coincidences and plot holes. Like, how did they get all the way from Seattle back to Jackson with Tommy being shot in the face, Dina being shot with an arrow and having her face smashed in, and Ellie's got a broken arm? They have no transportation, no supplies, and no weapons. And yet they made it 900 miles back to get all the way back to Jackson.
Bullshit.
It definitely hasn't been scrapped, LOL, and they definitely aren't rethinking because of any reaction to Part 2. Ooh, I'm not so sure about that. People forget Part 2 was absolutely massive successful. Nope, no. And won more Game of the Awards than anyone in history. They're taking their time with it as they do with everything they put out. Outbreak Day is a couple of weeks away, so maybe we'll hear more from them then. I hate to break it to you, man. It wasn't a success. Go to your local Target. Go to your local Best Buy. Are there copies still in the shrink wrap? Yes. Can you buy one of those copies for $20? Yes. Should you? No. All right. This is another thing that's kind of through the whole thread, and that's the end of the thread. Although this looks like this guy's comment got hidden. They still know how to piss me off about waiting for Last of Us 2 news even after it's released. I don't know why that guy's getting downvoted, but we'll end on this. Here's something really that's been kind of throughout this entire thread. They're literally hiring people for The Last of Us 2 online right now. How do you know that? It's going to take years to ship, probably 2023. This guy replies, that's not how development works. Hiring in no way implies that a project is only just starting. All right, so I'm not sure what he really means by that. but there seems to be this thing like, oh, well, they're hiring people, so they must be working on this thing. And I was like, that's not what that means. But let's just go, let's look at the Naughty Dog's career site. Let's just Google this for a second. Okay, here we go. Careers. Look at all this. They're so happy. This guy's like, so Ellie's gonna get her like arm smashed open. Oh, there's everybody's favorite. She's like, why don't the muscles, can we get the muscles to be even bigger? I bet like 95% of the people in this picture have left. Just to guess, I don't know how old that picture is. We developed some of the most critically acclaimed and top-selling video games. You used to, once upon a time. But let's take a look. Let's see what they got. Okay, let's find a job. Let's find a job, guys. I need a job. Okay, game design. That'll be a good lead. Okay, some scripters. Okay, some multiplayer. All right, so they have some multiplayer. Some monetization economy designer. They need a writer. Probably a good idea to hire a new one of those. Art, audio, IT, DevOps, lighting, visual effects, production, programming. Okay, let's look at programming. Maybe that will. Okay. Multiplayer programming for AI. Single player. Multiplayer, single player. Graphics. Okay, but yeah. So it looks like they do have some openings. Let's read one of these. Maybe there's some. Wow, they really are. They really are blowing their own horn here a little bit. Our most recent game, The Last of Us Part 2, has received over 300 Game of the Year awards, and 3 of our games are the most top. You didn't deserve any of those awards. They were all bought for. They were either bought and paid for, or you have these, divisive, politically aligned type people in the gaming journalism world who are your fellow travelers. They agree with all of the politics of the game. And so, of course, they gave it a good score. Embark on Naughty Dog's newest adventure. Okay, that sounds like a new IP. The studio's first standalone multiplayer game. This is a rare opportunity to make an impact in your discipline and craft, a unique experience that will be enjoyed and shared by a passionate global community of players. Join now to be an integral team member in building an incredible game whose impact will last years in the future. All right, if you're considering doing this job, don't, because they crunch you. Neil Druckmann will personally come by your desk and say, I need you to work 9,000 hours. I know there's only 24 in a day, but I need you to do all 9,000. Invent a time machine so you can travel back to the beginning of the day and then just work nonstop. Don't sleep, don't eat, you've got to crunch. Allegedly, I should say. Don't sue me. Well, there you have it, boys. That's it. The Naughty Dog team are working on a multiplayer, but it's a standalone. I really, really doubt it has anything to do with The Last of Us 2, because they know that it didn't succeed financially. They're very aware. But who knows? Maybe I'll be completely wrong about this. Maybe September 26th is going to roll around and bam, they're going to announce, DLC. They're going to do a crossover where Abby goes into Ghost of Tsushima. She's going to kill Jin and become the ghost. And then, she's going to liberate Japan. Because she's got a time machine, somehow she travels back in time. Her dad also invented a time machine, which she doesn't use to save his life or, try to convince him not to do the surgery, which he shouldn't have done anyway because he's an idiot. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I can see it now, y'all. Ghost of Abbey of Tsushima, it could be called. Game of the Year. 300 Game of the Year awards. Massive success. Massive financial success. All right, I hope we've learned something today. And I know we're just joking around here a little bit. I feel like I got to say again, if you like the game, by all means, it's if you enjoy the game, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. But let's not kid ourselves like it was this amazing success and that it's fantastic and wonderful and all this other stuff. That's just not true. The game didn't do well. It was divisive, and in my opinion, it was poorly written and it was not fun to play. So the idea that the Sony bosses who control this studio, I don't even know how they let this happen. I mean, that's a subject for another video. How did the Sony boss, were they not like, there wasn't somebody who's like at Sony, like sitting in on their meetings and going, huh, okay, so you're gonna kill the main character of the first game? Okay. And you're gonna play as his killer? Huh. And people are gonna like that? Well, that sounds like a terrible idea to me, but go for it. No, I think maybe the only way I can really, like, either they had somebody on the inside who was like covering for them, or they just weren't paying attention to them at all. But if I were Sony, if I'd given them $100 million to make a video game, I'd have somebody in the room reporting on that shit. I'd be like, hey, I'd get on the phone and be like, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, you're a Naughty Dog, right? Yeah, how's it going? Oh, what? They're gonna do what now? No. Like, that's obviously what they should have done. But it's not like Sony hasn't been caught flat-footed in the past. You may recall there was a little game called No Man's Sky, which is apparently in a good place now. All love to them. Great job. Good on you for, building the game back up into what it should have been at launch. But that game was not what it should have been at launch, and a lot of people got burned. That was a few years ago. Maybe not everybody remembers that, but I remember that pretty clearly. And Sony just was like, whoops. They were like, whoa, we shouldn't have used them in so many of the marketing campaigns. This is not going so well. I think even the president was like, yeah, they didn't really market this right. They kind of lied. But anyway, let's wrap it up here. I'm done rambling. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you like the game, you like the game. Let's just not get it twisted like this is some kind of genius thing. It's just kind of funny to laugh at this stuff because, like, I don't even know what planet most of these people are on if they really think that Last of Us 2 was a hit. But whatever, hey, teach their own. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to laugh at it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Those things are a big help and will encourage me to make more videos. Now, until next time, game on.